I've suffered from depression my entire life, actually. It's gotten worse over the years, just with a lot of childhood trauma. The depression, I'd get stuck in spirals a lot to where it was really difficult to get out of bed and to function normally. My temper was very short, and I had very little tolerance for social situations or even relationships with family and things like that. Yeah, just any situation where I was put in front of people, even just to go to church on Sunday or even sometimes work.
Mhm.
It just felt overwhelming and like too much effort was required to do it. It was affecting my career a lot to the point where I had really just kind of told my boss that I was not going to be working anymore because I couldn't handle coming in every day and dealing with the requirements of my job. In my relationships at home,
Mhm.
very little tolerance for conversations with my husband or my son. Um, Literally, I would drag myself out of bed in the morning, get ready, go to work, perform a half decent job, come home, make dinner, and then go to bed. Yeah, I've been on Prozac. I've been on Celexa. I,
Mhm.
I've been on Wellbutrin probably for the most
Mhm.
longest length of time, with just while it helped me
Mhm.
not want to die every morning, I certainly wasn't living my best life. I've also tried ketamine infusion.
Mhm. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I've always kind of had a very flat affect and had to work really hard to feel empathy for other people or to um, to react to sad news.
Do you feel like you've had some issues with post-traumatic stress disorder?
Oh, absolutely. 100%. To actually see the images
Yeah.
while it was
Well,
disheartening, it was also incredibly validating.
based on some relatively recent technology, we can map out the electrical disturbances in your brain compared to a normal population. And we see a large amount of what we call dysregulation in the back of the brain. And we often see this in patients suffering from PTSD because the visual cortex is often on high alert, if you will, um, in terms of traumatic experiences and visual memories that trigger an emotional response. And that's what we see here is a elevation in 15 hertz activity at a standard deviation of above 1.5 at 1.74. And here is what we found after your treatment. And it was amazingly much resolved, meaning there is only 1.19 standard deviation at this area here where the crosses are. But you can see all that dysregulation resolved, which is really nice to see. Another thing we do is the older technique of these topographic maps. We do a before and after, and it's fun to see objective changes in the brain. Here you can see the areas in red indicating dysregulation in 14 and 15 hertz, and also the beta band. And much of that is significantly resolved after the treatment here on 331.
It was pretty amazing because I felt I felt more like myself. I felt more present, which I haven't felt that way in a very long time. I haven't felt like an active participant, and I felt that way immediately. I was nervous that once I left the standard of treatment and the cocoon I had put myself in for 5 days, that it would go away, or that I would or it would kind of fade, and it actually increasingly got better. Um, just more and more each day, I have felt like myself. I've felt like adding more things in.
We used the Burns depression and a PHQ-9. It went from 39 to 10 right after treatment, and then 7 like 2 weeks afterwards, which is basically resolved. This is complete resolution from severe to 0 to mild. And then anxiety, which is very tough to treat and almost always comorbid with depression, went from 39 as well down to 14, which is amazing for anxiety in such a short span of time. Another commonly used rating scale went from 22 to a 9. And one that was used actually by Stanford, the Montgomery-Åsberg Depression Rating Scale, went from a whopping 35 down to basically none, complete resolution.
Can't put a price on feeling well, that it was worth everything. I had to drive a considerable distance to come down to see you, and it was well worth it. I feel normal. I've made some major changes in my life because I feel better, and you can't quantitate that. You can't put a number on that.